And on today's unbiased hard take, as promised, me and JB have a special podcast for you guys today as we post it on Facebook. Again, the link to Facebook is in the description down below. Me and JB here, as you can see, are not in our normal places. We are together, and we are heading to the Purdue game, as we'll give you guys some coverage on what it's like to go to a Big Ten college football game, Northwestern versus the Purdue Boilermakers. So, before we do that, JB, we are traveling to West Lafayette, Indiana, so we still have a podcast to cover, my friends. A lot of content will be coming out today. Keep an eye out. So with that, JB, I did a short take where I covered a little bit of the fantasy football since we don't have our setup here. So we don't need to do all that. If you want to know our fantasy scores, go to our Facebook page, again, link in the description, or go check out my short take on Anthony Richardson. So, with that, me and JB already predicted Thursday Night Football. We were wrong, JB. Horribly wrong. Because the Jets won. And the Jets aren't a horribly talented. They're a very talented team. They're just the Jets. So with that, me and JB, not counting the Jets game yet, because the week's not over, I am 81-42. JB here is 77-46. Last week he had a 13-3 record, and I was 10-6. So JB catching up a little bit here. So I have some improvement to do this week. So with that, JB, tomorrow we're going to start, oh boy, with the Dallas Cowboys at the Atlanta Falcons, my friend. At the ATL.
Well, I'm under the weather, and I am driving.
I'm doing all the formalities. We are driving safe, seatbelt, so I'm doing all the formalities. So JB is just talking here. I got everything else.
So, Dallas versus Atlanta. I'm going to pick Atlanta because the Cowboys defense is still struggling. I'm pretty sure they don't have Micah Parsons still. I think he's still injured. So I don't think he's not going to be playing yet. I could be wrong, but based on my knowledge, he's not playing. And if he's not there, the defense is not going to do good. So, just give me Atlanta. Dak Prescott. Oh dang. Oh dang.
How about this one? I'm almost gonna hold it. There we go. Sorry, y'all.
Oh dang. Bumpy road.
That's right.
But I'm gonna go with Atlanta. Dak Prescott in the offense is also still horrible. There's really not much to it. So yeah, give me Atlanta on this pick.
And I'm gonna agree with JB here. I picked Dallas last week to beat the 49ers because I had Dallas in my playoff picture, and it's still a long season to go. We'll see how that ends up. But Cowboys are 3-4. They lost. Bad clock management by Mike McCarthy. The defense isn't the same since the defensive coordinator bolted to Washington. It's not the same Cowboys team. They can't run the football at all, which we all knew was going to happen since they got to washed up Ezekiel Elliott. So I picked Dallas to win last week. I'm not making that mistake this week. I am going 100% here with Atlanta. They're my pick to win the NFC South. And Atlanta looked really good against that Tampa Bay team. So I was right to pick Atlanta last week, as was JB. So I also am going to go with the Falcons here. They're just the best team in their division, in my opinion. Better team than Dallas. With that, JB, here's one that's kind of sneaky because we might have to think about this one, my friend. The Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens. Bo Nix looking good.
Bo Nix is looking good, but I don't think he's not good enough. Even though the Ravens did have a horrible loss. Oh, hey, look at deer. Even though the Ravens kind of had their ups and downs their last game, and they did lose, but I don't think that's not going to come across because I still believe that the Denver still isn't that good. Bo Nix is looking good, but that doesn't solve as much of their problems. Majority of the receivers are hurt, as far as I'm aware of. I think Jerry Jeudy is hurt. I think. Not on top the Baltimore defense is still an elite defense. And so far as that receiving core on Baltimore, I don't think the Denver's defense cannot hold Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and Mark Andrews, because he's back now. He's been back probably for a few weeks now. So give me Baltimore.
Yes. I actually agreed with JB initially here. I had Baltimore initially, but I'm kind of thinking outside the box here because I had a bad week last week. I had to improve a little bit. Denver's playing good football. I haven't picked Denver a lot here, and if the season ended today, y'all, they'd be in the playoff picture. So Denver has a winning record. Sean Payton has been playing really good football. So here, I'm actually going to go with Denver to win this game. And it's not because I think Denver's defense is playing very good. Baltimore's going to get theirs. They'll score some touchdowns. Denver's defense won't be able to hold them all day. But I think they'll be able to stop them enough to where, mind you, Baltimore's defense played abysmal last week against Cleveland. Abysmal. And Baltimore's defense right now can't stop nosebleed. So I worry about Baltimore's defense more than their offense right now, especially with a hot Denver team. So this is my upset of the week. I do think Baltimore's the better team, but the NFL is a very weird, any type of week league. There's always at least one upset a week. So this is my upset right here. I'm picking Denver to kind of shock Baltimore. I think Baltimore will be just fine. They'll be in the playoffs at the end of the year, but I think this is just going to be a small losing streak for them of 2 games. Every team seems to hit it, and I think this is going to be theirs. Yes, JB. We'll see if we have a different one here. Hey, JB, sightseeing with the unbiased hard take. So, JB, who got here? Miami at Buffalo. Tua is back, and they played much better.
Buffalo. Yeah. I'm still worried, even though Tua is back. They're looking a little bit better, but it's not good enough. Tua just needs to learn how to slide, and because he's still running and getting tackled. Just slide, dude. Just slide. I mean, it's your health right now, and it's not looking good for you, honestly.
Because you were under the impression he should retire. You were not a fan of him coming back. We have opposite takes on that.
No. What's his concussion now? Like 8th?
I don't know. I know he's had multiple in the NFL, more than 2. I know that for a fact. He's had.
Troy Aikman had to retire early because all of his concussions that he's had.
Brett Favre has Parkinson's now because of concussions.
So, I mean, yes, we have technology that can somewhat prevent it, but it's still not enough. So, I mean, if you have players, like past players that's retired early, and you have Antonio Brown and also a good example, he's had concussions. Look at him. He's nuts. He's crazy. I love the dude, but he's nuts.
He's crazy. There's the bad curse. He is a culmination, the pinnacle of it.
But I just don't want to just lay it all out there and literally die on the field, because it's happened before.
Damar Hamlin.
But he got back up. But I don't think if one really bad hit, he's done for. That's why I want him to retire early, live his life, and just be him, not play football. But I'm going to go with Buffalo. Buffalo is a lot better team. Quan Coleman, Amari Cooper is the duo for Buffalo. Josh Allen actually has weapons other than just Stephon Diggs back in the day. I mean, they did have Corey Davis at one point, but he was unreliable. Now they have Amari Cooper and the rookie Quan Coleman, which he's fantastic, by the way. I love Quan Coleman. But yeah, give me Buffalo. They're a scary team this year, and frankly, they're probably going to make the Super Bowl this year. If they keep this up, they're probably going to make it to the Super Bowl.
I'm going to apologize to Bills Mafia, all Bills fans, Bills players, because I was not high on their losses. They lost a lot of players in the offseason, but sometimes here's something I fail to see, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. Sometimes losing things is really a gain. Like losing Stephon Diggs, you kind of lost a headache. So now you can kind of run the offense that you want to run, rather than trying to force the ball to a star receiver. So I agree with JB. I think Amari Cooper is an 1,000-yard receiver. He's not an A receiver, he's a B receiver, but he's still a 1,000-yard guy. Had 1,000 yards everywhere he's been. Cleveland, Dallas, all of it. So, I mean, he's an outstanding receiver. James Cook's running the ball really well right now. Sean McDermott has that defense playing good. Baltimore's the better, not Baltimore, wow, I'm thinking the last game. Buffalo's the better team here. Miami did play better last week, but still blew it against Arizona. Tyreek Hill is better, but I worry about a little too late for Miami. I think Buffalo's a better team. So give me the Bills here. Regarding Tua and him playing, it is good to see him back on the field. You never want to see anyone's career end by injury. So I said initially he needs to do what's best for him and his family, and ultimately he made that decision. It's a Warriors mentality, it's a man's game, it's a tough game, so a lot of respect as a football player for him to go back out there. I do hope his health, though, does in the long term is in good shape. I'm no doctor by any means, so I just hope it all works out for him. But yeah, give me Buffalo here either way. Yes, JB, the Toilet Bowl. Ready? The New Orleans Saints travel to Carolina to play primetime to play the Panthers. Who you got, JB? NFC South matchup, divisional matchup.
The Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it is a toilet bowl, but I mean, honestly, Panthers only won one game. They were close probably for another game, but they lost it, and they lost Deontay Johnson.
Traded him away. Yep.
They traded him away to the Baltimore Ravens. And so, with that being said, there's really not much really to it. I mean, the Saints, probably Alvin Kamara is probably going to look somewhat decent again against Carolina because they have the worst running defense. And I think Derek Carr is playing, and he might look good. So who knows? Who knows at this point? So give me the Saints.
I agree with JB. I'm not picking the Saints because I have faith in the Saints. I'm picking the Saints because they're playing the Panthers. So whether Derek Carr plays or not, I mean, even if Spencer Rattler has to go back out there again, I think he's good enough to beat Bryce Young or Andy Dalton. Good to see he is going to be okay with his vehicle accident he had with his family. All was good, so that's good to see. For those who do not know, I was in recently a vehicle accident and totaled a vehicle. I am also okay, so good to see all people okay in vehicle accidents. So either whoever starts, Andy Dalton or Bryce Young, I have no faith in the Panthers. Like JB said, they traded Deontay Johnson away to Baltimore, so it's obvious that they are not in to win this year. They're the worst team in football. So give me the Saints here. At least the Saints had first couple good games. David Tepper and the Panthers, it comes from the top. David Tepper's a mess, so naturally the Panthers are a mess. So give me the Saints. All right, JB. Speaking of a mess, the Vegas Raiders at the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams are sort of a mess, if I'm going to be quite honest.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Bengals. The Raiders are a hot mess. They don't have any weapons on offense. Gardner Minshew is looking lost. Aiden O'Connell, I think he's still injured.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, it's just there's no really any explanation of why the Bengals should not lose this game. They should. It's an easy win for them because they're a lot better talented offense, more talented on defense. Even though the Raiders defense is a little bit sleepy, don't get me wrong, they're a little bit sleepy on certain occasions, but it's just beyond the point of just depending
JB. I picked the Bengals to beat Philly last week, and that was a mistake. Zach Taylor's a good coach. So I sat and thought, I'm like, man, what's wrong with the Bengals? The same thing has always been wrong with the Bengals, guys. I mean, really, they're the only NFL team without an indoor practice facility. They're still working on that. It's 2024, guys, and they still don't have an indoor practice facility. It's not like they're in a very beautiful area in the wintertime. They're in the Mid-East, which is where we and JB live. So it gets cold here, guys. It gets really cold here. So the fact they don't have an indoor practice facility, the owner's cheap. They don't go out and make big free agents. They're getting ready to give Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase that big contract, so they're not going to be able to afford the offensive linemen or defensive players. You're starting to see that now because their owner's cheap. We're seeing the same thing we've seen with Carson Palmer, Chad Johnson, and TJ Houshmandzadeh. It's literally the same thing. That's right. It's literally the same situation. The Bengals have 3 really star good players that they have to pay a lot of money to, and their owner doesn't want to go out there and spend the necessary players to get your boring players, your tackle, your defensive lineman, your safety, stuff you need to win football games. They're just too cheap. And now we're seeing this generation's version of it with Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and T. Higgins. And it's sad because the Bengals have a really star-studded offense, so they wouldn't pay Joe Mixon. Now he's lighting up with Houston. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Bengals here just because the Raiders are a bigger mess. The Raiders have been a mess for, I don't know, my whole fandom. I don't ever really remember the Raiders ever being good beyond a couple playoff appearances with Derek Carr. So, yeah, the Raiders are a mess. Devontae Adams is gone. Antonio Pierce a couple weeks ago was talking about business decisions. Just not a good look. Aiden O'Connell's hurt. Minshew's thrown multiple interceptions a lot this season. Had a 3-interception game recently. So, yeah, give me the Bengals here. Ah, yes, JB. The Chargers at the Browns. Your favorite week, the Browns. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year, JB. Who do you got?
Who was it again?
The Chargers at the Browns. Jameis Winston will start, obviously.
Browns are pretty good on the run game, and the Chargers is a really heavy, run-heavy offense. I'm going to pick the Browns. Give me the Browns on this one.
Okay.
I think their defense is going to stop their run game pretty well. It's just the fact that John Harbaugh is a running coach. He really doesn't like to pass. I feel like there's not really much to say at this point. And plus, Herbert the Sherbert really doesn't have that many weapons on offense, anyways. Even if they even have to pass the ball, he doesn't have weapons. And Justin Herbert is underperforming where he's supposed to be because of the run offense. So, and the Cleveland Browns are actually pretty good when it comes to the running off and to their run defense. So give me the Browns.
I see where you're going with this, JB, but I'm actually going to take the Chargers, and I mean this. In my lifetime, there has been no team that I have lost more bets on than the Chargers. Going back to their Phillip Rivers and Drew Brees days, that's how old we are. Now to Justin Herbert. But I really do think, I've said this many times, it's different this time. Yeah, the Chargers. Because Jim Harbaugh's the coach. Jim Harbaugh been to a Super Bowl, made multiple playoffs with the Niners, won a natty with Michigan last year. You're right, they are a running football team. They have a good offensive line. J.K. Dobbins is looking good, especially after those 2 really bad season-ending injuries his last few years. A lot of people thought his career was done, but he's running the ball very well. Their defense is playing well. They're kicking the ball. Special teams is playing very well. The issue with, like you said, the Chargers is that they don't have a lot of weapons. I agree with JB on that. They don't. But they're going to be in a lot of close football games. They're a gritty football team. I think ultimately they're going to be able to pull the win out here in a close game. I think Jameis Winston will make some plays, but he'll turn the ball over too. So I think his turnovers will bite him in the butt. And Chargers win. Neither team scores 20, and it's a game-winning field goal. I think this will be one of those games. The Chargers are going to play a lot of those games this year. So give me the Chargers. Ah, yes. It's our second favorite time of the week, JB. Who do you have, my friend? The Washington Commanders, JB. That's the New York Football Giants.
Give me the Commanders.
JB's taking command.
I am taking command. I mean, just for the fact, the New York Giants, not a lot of good things happen back to back.
That ain't no kidding.
I mean, we've seen it before, and I mean, look at the Steelers game. They were so. I mean, at the first half, it was tied. It was tied. 9-9. And I was honestly surprised by the Giants' defense. I really was. Until the second half came, and the Steelers' special teams, they came out and did what they had to do. Calvin Austin returning that for a touchdown, and Russell Wilson driving down and getting Calvin Austin another touchdown on offense. Najee getting 100 yards on his carries. I mean, there's really not, even though Russell Wilson did fumble on that one drive. But like I said, nothing twice good happens when it comes to New York Giants. We're out of red lights, so. But yeah, nothing good happens twice in a row for the New York Giants. They got a fumble. Cool. They were almost at field goal range. And then TJ Watt sack fumble. And he recovered his own fumble. Nothing
ended it.
Nothing good happens with the Giants. And then we seen how the Hail Mary happened. I mean, with the Commanders. I mean, it's just, I feel like the Commanders are a lot better team, offense and defensively. And yeah, and the Danny Dimes and Daniel Jones's interception that happened. It's just, yeah, it's just nothing good happens when it comes to the Giants. They're like the Jets. It's horrible. So give me the Commanders.
JB's taking command, as am I. You know, I watched the whole second half of that Commanders-Bears game. I was going to do a short on it, but here's what I'm going to say to Bears fans. That is the most Bears way to lose a football game. Only the Bears lose a football game that way. And truly, the Commanders deserve to win the game anyway. They played better than the Bears did all game long, had the lead most of the game. I mean, they stopped the Bears' offense the whole first half. Had that DeAndre Swift run early in that second half not happen, we wouldn't be having a conversation. I mean, instead of giving it to their Pro Bowl running back, they gave it to a backup offensive lineman. Bears football. Stupidest fan base in the NFL. That's so funny to see the Bears lose that way. And to their player that was mocking Commanders fans. That's just the football gods getting the best of you. Saying, oh, I see you celebrating before the game's over. Punishment time. And it's good to see the Bears on the opposite end of the punishment, because that's funny. I hate the Bears. Their misery makes me happy. So, I am going to take the Commanders here also. They're playing good football. They're the 2 seed right now. And that's crazy. Jaden Daniels putting that Hail Mary. He's Rookie of the Year. He beat Caleb Williams in his one-on-one matchup, so no doubt in my mind. Give me the Commanders.
It's not hard.
No, it is not.
98 yards in 3 quarters, and he had 150 yards total, I think.
Right.
pathetic.
Oh, yeah, this is actually the toilet bowl, actually, JB. New England at Tennessee.
Give me New England. I was wrong about New England last week. I should have taken them, but I thought that it was... Who did they play last week?
The Jets.
Yeah. I thought the Jets was going to be, a lot better. But clearly, that was not the case. Yeah, it's just... And Drake May is looking good. Ever since he started at his past few games, he was looking amazing. He was looking really good with all the weapons that he has available, and they're not all that good. He's making them work. So I'm not gonna make the same mistake again on a crappy defensive team like the Tennessee Titans. So give me the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with you, the Patriots. I mean, Tennessee looks abysmal. Sorry, my thumb got in the way. Tennessee looks absolutely god-awful. I mean, Mason Rudolph looks like garbage. Will Levis looks like garbage. All their quarterbacks look like garbage right now. So, I mean, Tennessee, Tony Pollard looks okay, but he's no Derrick Henry. I made a mistake last week picking the Jets. The Jets are the only football team that I know that could lose to the Patriots and then turn around and beat the Texans. That's Jets football. So, I mean, Drake May did get injured in that game, but Jacoby Brissett took him out of the field for a game-winning drive. So no matter if Drake May or Brissett play, I have faith in New England here to get a win against a really bad Tennessee team. Tennessee's just not good. So yeah, give me 100%. Give me New England here. Ah, yes, JB. The Bears at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are leading their division, my friend. Who you got?
Give me the Cardinals. I mean, there's no. Cardinals is a lot. Their offense is looking fantastic again. Defense is somewhat surprising me a little bit. And the way that I've seen Caleb Williams, yes, he had a few good games, yes, to crappy teams. And once he's seen a really good defense like the Commanders last week, he shot the bed. 98 yards in 3 quarters. Jaden Daniels was at 300. I think he had 300 yards.
Well, I don't have the exact number, but significantly more than Caleb did.
Oh yeah, way more.
And a dub.
Exactly. But that's beside the point though. When he faces a really good defense, he's nowhere to be found. So the Cardinals are looking a lot better, in my opinion. They're a lot better team-wise. Team-wise, they're horrible. So give me the Cardinals.
I agree with JB. I'm not surprised that the Cardinals are sneaky. We predicted that. I'm surprised they're leading their division. I mean, they're probably, in my opinion, a year or two away from actually being playoff contenders, but they could very well be a sneaky playoff team this year. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals here. I was really impressed. They did well that lead against Miami, but they were able to close the win. Kyler Murray looks good. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks absolutely outstanding. James Conner is a really good running back, also probably the best goal line back in the league. So yeah, I'm taking Arizona here against a Chicago team that just had a really big deflating, all jokes aside, a deflating loss. To lose that way, that has to hurt. So I think they're going to feel the reaps of that. So give me the Cardinals. Ah, JB. The Jaguars travel to Philly. Who do you got, my friend?
Give me Philadelphia on this one. The Jags aren't what they're supposed to be. I mean, they're just flat out. I wouldn't say awful, but they're terrible. They're straight out terrible. Yeah, there's it's just a terrible way to start. Trevor Lawrence is looking mediocre. I mean, it's no surprise there. But yeah. So, give me Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is looking somewhat decent. AJ Brown is in AJ Brown. He's doing AJ Brown things. So yeah, give me Philadelphia.
Oh, I 100% agree with JB here. I mean, Philadelphia beat Cincinnati. I did not think they were going to. Saquon Barkley absolutely looks outstanding. I mean, you got Devontae Smith with A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts is running the ball well. He's passing the ball well. They've really figured out sort of an NFL, college, NFL hybrid offense they're running, and it's really impressive. So I think Philadelphia is just better than a Jacksonville team. Jacksonville did play Green Bay better than I thought they did last week, but they still can't close a football game. They still lost in clutch time to Green Bay last week. So give me Philadelphia against a Jacksonville team just struggling in general. It's sad. Speaking of Green Bay, JB, it's my favorite time of the week. You have the Detroit Lions traveling to Lambeau for America's Game of the Week at 4:30. Who do you got at Lambeau, my friend? The Lions at Packers. Not sure who will start at quarterback. Jordan Love did practice in limited capacity.
And I think I did see Jared Goff is also injured, I do believe. But I think he's on full participation in one of his practices. But don't quote me on that. But I'm gonna go with the Packers. Give me the Packers on for this game.
You know, this is my favorite time of the week, so I'm gonna put the phone here. I had Green Bay initially. I think Green Bay will end up splitting with Detroit, but I think Detroit actually wins this game here. Jordan Love's health's up in the air. I do have faith in Malik Willis, but Detroit's my pick to go to the Super Bowl. They're my pick to win this division. I do have Green Bay in the playoff picture as a wild card team, but I think it would be biased for me to kind of flip on that now, say all these things, and then say, oh, I think Detroit, blah, 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 and then turn around and flip on that because it's my favorite team. I think Green Bay could win this game. I would not be surprised if they did. And I'm rooting for me to be wrong here. But I think Detroit's they're my Super Bowl pick. Jordan Love's health. If his health wasn't a question, I would be having a different conversation right now. But I do worry about that a little bit, even though I do have faith in Malik Willis 100%. But give me Detroit here. I just think they're the better football team unbiasedly. Green Bay will still be in the playoffs, don't worry.
But I'm going to say this, though. Detroit has been dominating, having 40, 50-plus points per game. But they've been facing crappy defenses. Like Dallas, for a really good example, the Dallas Cowboys. They suck, right? Defensive-wise, they were horrible. And they had 50 points on their head. So, I think now they actually have an actual team, an actual good defense that they're facing against. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit just for the fact, actually, I'm not going to give you over. You put your turn signal too late. Anyways, but they're actually facing a really good defense. And yeah, I think it's not really that much of a true effort at this point. So yeah, give me. But I'm still gonna pick the Packers, but that's beside the point. I think the Lions are actually gonna struggle against the Green Bay Packers because Green Bay Packers has a really good defense, and they just I don't know. I don't know how to actually really.
Some parking, JB. With that, as you can tell, we are arriving at the Lafayette Stadium. So me and JB are going to do a speed round here. Cash only, I'd pull in there. So I want to predict these last 3 games
See what I can find.
quickly. We're going to do that kind of speed round. I like that. It's kind of cool. A lot of Purdue gear. I like to see it. So when it comes down to the Rams and Seahawks, I'm taking the Rams here. They're my pick to win that division, and they're playing better football. That division's crowded. The Rams are back in it now. So I'm going to take the Rams here. When it comes to Indy at Minnesota, I'm actually going to take Minnesota here. Unfortunately, I do think the NFC North is the best division in football. I've said that many times. So I look for them to bounce back after a little bit of a losing streak. And then Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Kansas City. There's nothing else to say. 17-0. Might as well just give them the trophy now. Go Super Bowl, 17-0. Swiftie Nation, propose. Taylor Swift should own the NFL. I don't know. So give me Kansas City on that one. JB, what's your speed round here as we're getting into Lafayette here? Rams, Seahawks.
Just give me one team at a time.
Okay, Rams,
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Okay. Indy at Minnesota on Sunday Night Football.
Minnesota.
And Tampa Bay at Kansas City.
Kansas City. So, with that, me and JB have a lot of different picks this week. We have a lot of coverage today. We are now getting into Lafayette, West Lafayette, Indiana for today's Purdue game. So, again, that's all we have for today's formal, unbiased Hard Take podcast. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell, like us on Facebook. Check out Sports Fact of the Day. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, all that good stuff. JB, what do you got for the people, my friend, as we wrap up this podcast? Don't forget to follow or hit the bell on our notifications for our Spotify when we post stuff on Spotify. So we got that going on, and so yeah, follow us on Spotify.
And new intro, as you guys can see with my shorts, we have a new intro now. I worked on that. I'm pretty proud of that one. So we have a new intro. Big things coming for this podcast. We got a big event day coming here today. So that's all I got. As always, boiler up today of most days. Go Heat and go Pack, go baby. JB.
Let's go Purdue, boiler up. Let's get this dub. Last time I was here, that was a few years, way too much long time, like 5 years ago. We destroyed. I even forgot who we played at that point. But yeah, let's go Purdue. Let's boiler up. Let's go Heat. We're on a little win streak, and this is our bye week. This is where we had to buckle down for the Steelers, because it's going to be a rough rest of the season for us. So let's go Steelers. And see you all next week.
We'll see you all a little bit later today too. Next week, later today, big things coming from the Unbiased Hard Take.